Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into the wild tale of man, his robotic body, and that ridiculous romance. Are you ready? Little did he know, his confession years ago would become his key to the robotic realm. He even bought her a star online. The star was real. Unfortunately for Belinda, her luck wasn't great. Years later, the planet sent a spaceship and robots to collect her. They wanted Belinda as their queen, and refusal would mean a fate like the cat's. Belinda was terrified. Reluctantly, she boarded the spaceship, just as the doctor rushed over too little, too late. He hopped into the TARDIS and took off after her, but at that moment, Belinda learned the whole story from the robots and began to complain. She glared at the planet, fuming. That was Alan's work. Find him, robots. But just after she exclaimed, the entire time-space continuum went haywire. Imagine a sewing machine with a runaway needle. Time just couldn't stay in line. Just when things seemed to settle down, a gorgeous planet appeared outside the window. It was their destination, Belinda's planet. Belinda was puzzled, a queen with zero privileges. Now that's a punchline. This planet was under total robot domination, and the locals were revolting in the shadows. Belinda was just a glorified piece of furniture. No wonder she was so confused. So-called synchronization was just to turn her into a robot like the one at the start. Immortal, but let's just say she'd be less than a 10. I refuse. But the robots didn't care about her refusal. Just then, maid Sasha suggested consulting a historian for planet history. She convinced the queen to consider the transformation. Unsurprised, that historian was the Dr. C. He had been sneaking around the palace. Turns out, 10 years ago, the robots on this planet had a rebellion, turning humans into slaves, and now they were hunting for Belinda. The people had no idea why, but they firmly believed Belinda could help retrieve their planet. At the Doctor's command, the humans launched a rebellion, but the robots were like tanks' impenetrable armor. Humans had it rough. One shot, and they turned to dust. But really, their goal wasn't victory, just getting Belinda out. The Doctor rushed everyone to the palace, activated the space transfer device, and whoops. See, even the palace cleaning robot tagged along. He quickly shut down the robot, cutting off its tracking. As they looked at the injured in the base, Nurse Belinda immediately wanted to treat them. However, the doctor cautioned her that Earth's medicine was essentially useless here. She pulled a blanket off a patient, only to discover though they were humans, they had some pretty noticeable differences from Earthlings. Belinda was amazed by the differences, and the doctor, a bit smug, introduced himself as a Time Lord with 2 hearts. That's really just the difference between being single and not. The doctor emphasized that this certificate was the key to saving the planet. He discovered that the robotic overlord possessed an identical copy of the certificate. The upper right corner was also torn off. The only difference was that its certificate looked a bit more worn out. So, neither of those certificates is a copy. But why would the same item exist in 2 places at once? That brings us to the time jump Belinda experienced. The doctor got caught up in it too, and when he found her, he was 6 months early. The TARDIS was held hostage by the robots, so he had to crash at the palace, establishing contact with the rebels. He waited for Belinda to arrive for a whole 6 months. As for the time jump, it all revolved around the certificate in Belinda's hand. When 2 versions of the same item appear in the same space-time, it can cause a time mess and might even trigger a cosmic explosion. Just then, a sudden booming sound echoed overhead, indicating that the robot army was clearly hot on their heels. The rebels scrambled to retreat, but Belinda wondered why robots sought her. She thought accepting transformation could stop them harassing humans. She was willing to sacrifice herself in order to fully save the remaining humans. Doctor was helpless against it. To make matters worse, the robot army surrounded them. They could only play it by ear and got marched to the palace. Forced to witness a royal wedding, Belinda suddenly recognized the familiar tone of the AI ruler. It was her ex, Alan. Her hunch was confirmed. The AI Kronis AI actually stood for Alan. Robots really took her words to heart and brought Alan back to Belinda's planet 10 years ago. Back then, the planet wasn't in rebellion, but as soon as Alan took the throne, it became his conquest game. He initiated a revolution and completely transformed himself into a robot as well. Alan was a control freak. After successfully confessing to Belinda, he started listing all his weird demands. He wanted to control everything about Belinda, even how she ate and slept had to be done his way. Who would tolerate that? But now Alan was the god of this planet, and everyone followed his commands. Belinda's only hope lay in that certificate. Space-time law says you can't have two versions of the same item in the same place. However, Alan believed that it served as a symbol of their love indeed. So when the certificates touched, the power of the time rift exploded, engulfing both of them. Normal humans would be toast, but not the Doctor. As a Time Lord, he leaped forward and wrapped his arms around Belinda. In a mere instant, the entirety of Belinda's life flashed before the Doctor's eyes. As the energy faded, Belinda survived, while Alan reverted to his original state, leaving just a fuzzy memory behind. But just then, the TARDIS finished its check-up, and the Doctor reluctantly agreed to take Belinda home, eager to jump into hero mode.